Hi, so I'm Jay Jones. I'm the host, and I'm here with my husband, Taylor Jones, the weekend garden soldier.
How you doing?
I'm excellent. So I thought, what is this? Is this the end of summer?
Yeah, we're getting near the end of summer, basically September. I mean, it feels like you want it to last forever, but you can definitely feel the coolness starting to come in a little bit. It's definitely gorgeous day today, but this time of the year, I definitely start thinking of more end of summer type activities. You
So
know,
is it when is the exact date of the end of summer? Do you know?
I think the exact day is the end of summer, September 21st. So,
Really?
I don't know, 10 days away, a week away.
Okay, so it's coming up.
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely coming up. So, yeah,
well,
toward the end of summer, I usually like to get in, like we went to the store today to get some like last minute perennials to plants. We got a nice cone flower plant in the garden. There's still plenty of time to plant perennials and trees and different plants to just kind of see how they do and see if they make
mhm.
it to the next year.
So you're that's where your mind is at this time of the year. I mean, what other things are you doing?
Yeah, that's definitely a mind of that. We're definitely into the cloning of the perennials too. And that's good this time of the year too because some of the plants are dying down, they're not doing as
Okay.
well, so it's not really a big deal even take a bunch of cuttings off the plant, not really hurting it at this point. So it's
Okay.
a good time to kind of take cuttings, try to reproduce them and make some clones, so you can kind of get that same. You cut off a flower, you can get that same flower in a new plant, pretty much. So
Um, I feel like I remember at another place, at our old house, that we did other different things at this time of the year. We dug up plants and stuff, but I don't really see you doing that.
yeah, I know that either the spring or the fall is the time to actually divide plants. I think most of the time you're supposed to do that is more in the spring. You could probably get away with it in the fall too, just if you kind of have a really big plant that's huge and probably wouldn't hurt if you divide it. But I think most plants I recommend do dividing in the spring. Trying to think what else we did this time of the year. I mean, definitely you got to start thinking about digging up plants.
Okay.
So like for us, we do have a lot of tropicals, and lately I've been putting more of our tropicals in pots just because I don't have to worry about digging it up. But I think we do have a few in the ground. So if you
Oh,
have a
we do?
tropical in the ground that's like a bulb or a tuber, yeah, we have some dahlias that I could potentially dig up. And the thing is, dahlias are not, I don't know if I'd call them tropicals per se, but you
Okay.
treat them the same way. If you really want to keep a lot of your dahlias, you actually have to dig them up at the end of the year and
I did
store
not
them in
know
like,
that.
yeah.
I didn't know that. So we've got a few.
Most dahlias or dahlias will not come back. Maybe the summertime that will.
Okay.
Most of them, yeah, they don't survive the winter. So
And we kind of have the shorter ones, not the big tall ones.
right, the ones we have this year, the ones we started them from seed. I think for a lot of dahlias, that's another one where you just don't do from seed. You buy the tuber or the bulb from somewhere, and you get the big like crazy ones. Most of the ones I've gotten from seed are like these small, single petaled uh, dahlias.
What else could be something that we might dig up? I mean, I know, like you said, we might dig up the dahlias, but what else would other people who are watching this, might they be thinking about that they have to dig up?
Definitely things like cannas. A lot of cannas are definitely popular. You'll see them in kind of everybody's garden for the most part. That's another one where you put it in the ground, you're gonna have to dig it up. Make sure you again. I think it's another one with fibrous tubers. It's hard to envision, but yeah, it's like this little tuberous looking thing. You got to dig it up. Make sure you go deep enough so you can get under it. Go right straight through the tuber. I know a lot of times you kind of get impatient and stick the
Yeah.
shovel right through the tuber, but yeah, I definitely want to get underneath. Like cannas, definitely one if you have elephant ears. Um,
Oh, right.
Yeah, but again, we do. I've gotten to the point where I like to do a lot of in pots. So I think at the two elephant ears we have, I think are in pots right now. And most of the cannon, there might be one can on the ground somewhere, but for the most
So
part,
is that what you do if you dig them out of the ground? You just put them in a pot?
you could put them in the pot. If you dig them on the ground, you probably more generally want to put them like wrap them in newspaper, and then put them in like a paper bag, like a bag you get from the grocery store, and you were supposed to keep it in a cool, dark spot.
Okay.
And you don't want them to fully crisp up and dry out.
Okay.
But I mean, at the same time, you don't really want to water them, so you just want to maybe mist them a little bit if you see them getting super crispy. But I think just by wrapping them in the newspaper and putting them in the bag, that's supposed to keep the moisture kind of in there that it needs. So generally, you don't mess with them too much, but you do
So,
want to look with them you want to take a look at them every once in a while, of course, in the winter.
so like the leaves, you mean when you're saying when you're talking about them getting crispy, you're saying
No,
watch the
no, no,
leaves?
no. When you dig it up, the leaves, as you dig it up, the leaves you want to get rid of. You cut off all the leaves until you just have this tuberous looking thing. Maybe there's a tiny leaf that you still see on it somewhere, but it's really just going to be the tubers that you're saving.
Okay. I feel like people are talking about planning for the next year, planning the garden for the next year. If you grow food or if you grow vegetables, I don't know that we've done a super lot of that, but I think we
Yeah.
want to do more of it. And like, what, what should that look like? What could that look like?
Well, again, it might be a little early now, but you definitely want to get to the point where you're really just cleaning up the garden when all your plants are dead and there's leaves everywhere. I think some leaf coverage is actually good, but I think if you have too much, it could invite like bacteria and some bad stuff to kind of form there, or some animal activity. You just want to make it nice and clean in your garden. You still have leaves, but you might even want to like chip them up and shred them a little bit just so they kind of dissolve more. So if we get a lot of leaves here, I'm thinking I might put them through the chipper and kind of just have them, spread them out in different areas.
Oh, I didn't know what you meant. You meant like the falling of the leaves because
Right.
the seasonal change. You didn't
Yeah,
mean
more
like
seasonal
on the
change.
plant. You don't mean
More
okay.
seasonal change. To prepare some of the plants, I think you're supposed to maybe cut some down in the ground. But I think even a decent amount of them, you can kind of just leave them there. You don't really do too much to them until the spring.
Like the grasses and the
Yeah,
hydrangea.
the grasses we usually leave up until the springtime. Hydrangea, you probably leave them up too. I mean, for the hydrangea, there's some hydrangea that blooms on new wood versus old wood.
Oh boy.
And so the ones that we had this year that didn't really flower at all, they're definitely blooming on old wood. So I don't think you want to mess with those at all. I kind of want to let them be. The ones that bloom on new wood, you can probably cut them now. You can probably cut them in the spring. It don't matter too much. It's kind of just really, you want to look at it during the winter type of thing. Some of these plants, when they're dead, they provide winter interest, even though they're dead,
Yeah.
So.
I am like looking at the lilacs out there and just wondering what are we supposed to do with those things? They just seem to, we're cutting them. They're getting really tall. I don't know if they're even super flowering well.
Right. That's another one we should look up to see. I definitely feel like we need to prune them. That's one I just feel like, should we do it now or in the spring type of thing? So they definitely need to be shaped and pruned a little bit because they're getting a little out of control. They're getting super tall too. I'd rather have them be like more bushy than tall. So let's see.
Let me, so we did vegetables really well. I mean, for us, for the first time, really. I mean, like I'm not saying we've never grown before. I'm saying that I feel like it went really well.
Well, it went well. And we actually, I think this is the first time we actually ate the food that we grew. I feel like we've grown food in the past. We're kind of just like, cool, we grew it. Yeah. And now we actually cooked a bunch of dishes. We made the basil chicken. We made the chili, all these kind of things we're making, just throwing a smorgasbord of stuff we're cooking in there. Like carrots.
We can still can. We can still can too. I just watched a show about canning tomatoes and the scalding them or the blanching them and then cutting them out, cutting the center, peeling them, cutting the centers out, and sugar, lemon, and I think a little, I don't remember what else was the other thing, but like you put them in these cans and turn them upside down and
but do you need like vinegar or something how do you preserve them?
That might have been the
apple
thing.
Cider vinegar.
I felt like that was the one more thing that I was going to say, the one more ingredient, and it didn't look super hard at all. Like I really feel like that's something else we could do. But what I was going to say was not like just patting ourselves on the back, which I am proud of us, but like kind of saying we are going to plan things to do with this as far as the food garden. And like how are we going to be planning that? Just writing down what we want to grow? Or are we going to be ordering seeds? Or are we going to, or whatever, the heirloom tomatoes again? And what are we going to be doing?
Yeah, we're definitely gonna. I think we do. To me, that is, I guess, one important thing at the end of the season. Like, I forget a lot of times next year, like what we even wanted to do, what we're planning. So I think the
Yeah.
key is to this time of the year to write stuff down, take notes. I guess even talk about like we're talking about now, so we kind of have it on record to say kind of what we wanted to do. Because when you're in it, that's when you have the most insight about kind of what you want to do and how things should go.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think we said that we want to do like a whole thing of onions. So we want to make sure whether we're starting from seed or get the little onion starts. We want like a one of those boxes, a whole thing of onions. Just because we use onions all the time, we're using a lot of different things. So I know that's one of the main things. I know we said we want to do the tomatoes, 2 or 3 tomatoes in the same type of pots that we're kind of growing now. That big
The heirloom tomatoes. I really, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Garlic we have to figure out.
Yeah, garlic we have to figure out how to do. I was talking to my brother yesterday. He said he was doing garlic this year, and it took him a while to get him going. Nathan.
Okay.
But I don't know if I told you, they're going to Arizona to stay with my dad for a few weeks just because of all the smoke and fire out there or whatever. So he's going to have to leave a bunch of the plants behind.
They're in right. Oh my gosh. So. Okay. God bless California and the people that are suffering there. Right. Babe. So he said he got the garlic going, but it took a while.
He said it took it a while to get it going and to get it into like a state that he wanted. So I wasn't exactly sure what he meant, but I'm just.
We need pictures. We need to know what that means because we didn't. I mean, we basically took a clove and ended up with a clove. I mean, I don't think it grew at all.
No, it didn't seem to grow. I mean, I think again it's because we bunched that garlic with a bunch of other stuff. There's probably certain plants where you just don't want to smorgasbord your stuff all in one pot. You got to really plan kind of how you space things, how you put them in there.
We never saw radish. We did see some celery, but we haven't used it yet.
Yeah, the celery we can probably use for one of the next dishes we got coming up. The radish we didn't necessarily see. The carrots did great. In fact, there's a few more carrots in the pot on the deck.
I'm really proud of. I'm amazed and proud of the carrots. I'm amazed.
Yeah, they got big and tasty.
The cucumber.
Yeah, like I say, I'm proud of the tomatoes too. Especially the fact that we ate so many tomatoes. We've grown tomatoes all the time. We never eat the things.
You're telling our dirty secrets. Cucumbers, I want to do how you did them at the old house. I've seen the old pictures now, and I want to do them how you did
cucumbers. We did slightly better at the old house, and we made all those pickles and stuff. I think the brand of cucumber we got was almost too big. We grew those humongous cucumbers.
But they're delicious.
I just don't know if those are the best for pickling necessarily, but I think there's a specific kind you want if you want to do pickling.
I think, don't you cut them up for pickles? Like no? Yeah.
You do, but these just seem almost too big. Like, I don't know. They seem
honey, but they were really yummy pickles. Yeah. You don't like cucumbers that much, but these were really good. I understand they were huge. What else? I want to do sweet potatoes. Do we know how to do that?
Oh, just potatoes in general. Yeah, I'd imagine similar. I imagine they grow similar to each other.
To carrots?
To normal potatoes too. Like we should grow some normal potatoes as well as potatoes.
I
think they need a lot of room to grow. I would imagine.
So my question is, are we going to tear down our situation over there that we built and rebuild something over there? Or is that going to work for us to do anything? Because it seems like there's not enough square footage, uninterrupted square footage.
That was part of the problem. I think the other problem is just accessibility. There's all those other bushes and plants that get in the way. It's kind of hard to work with. The thing we really need to figure out with accessibility is the cages. Did we need those cages or not? That's the part I don't know.
It's hard to argue.
If we don't need them, that's a big deal about. It's hard to reach into there with those huge cages. So.
It's hard to argue a negative. I forgot the peas and beans.
Right, those are fine.
Those were great while they lasted. I feel like we might have.
Those are cold weather things.
Oh, so we wanted to start them later or earlier. Later
earlier maybe, but you just have to recognize that you're only going to get something out of them for the first couple months of the growing season. Like by late June, early July, they're going to be starting to fizzle out.
I feel like maybe we want to do them later and earlier. I mean,
you could probably start another round now.
because they are so yummy. I have never tasted peas and beans that tasted that good.
They're definitely unique. Like I never seen a pea that looked like that. It was like that.
Well, okay, let's wrap on this. What are the things, let's just do a checklist of things that you're thinking about or could be thinking about at this time, without jumping ahead to the next season.
Right.
What should we be thinking about now? Just a checklist real quick.
Um, trying to think what else we need to do. I mean,
No,
I'm still sort of in the mode of like planting stuff. I still want to go to greenhouses and plant those last couple of things. Oh, here's the other thing I was thinking about. In the mail, we have some things coming soon. So we have some daylilies and some some bulbs, some tulips. And I know it's coming up in the time of the year they expect you to plant those. I don't know if it's in September that you want to plant all the tulips. It's most likely in October. So in the next couple of weeks, when I think the tulips are supposed to come, we're just going to figure out a places to plant them. Tulips.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever, maybe we planted tulips once, but it's been a while since we've really messed with them. So we have to figure out the best technique. You probably want them a certain depth.
Yeah.
And I know your parents had issues with like animals eating them up before they kind of got going. I don't know if we were about that or not. But yeah, so those are coming. Then we have some daylilies coming. I thought there was like one or two other plants. So it's still, in my mind, still planting season for getting some stuff on the ground, as well as more cloning probably, since we have some more plants we want to kind of duplicate.
Good point. So we're cleaning up at this time and.
So yeah, but the point is I don't think I'm completely in shutdown mode yet as far as the garden. I think I'm still feel like I want to actively do stuff. It's because it's so gorgeous outside too. So.
Yeah. But generally we're cleaning up some things, we're cloning some things, we're still gardening, planning what we're going to plant that's going to come up in the spring, which is awesome. And if you have stuff outside, digging that up, not even yet, just having in mind that it's something that's going to have to be done.
Right.
I
mean, you definitely want to try to keep your garden tidy at this point. Like I think we've been pretty good as far as like not having tons of weeds in our garden bed. I don't know if we got lucky this year. We actually did something. I know we weeded, obviously. But I think you want to, the mulch, we put down a decent amount of mulch. And you definitely want to keep going with it. If you see weeds in there, kind of pull them out of there. Because a lot of these weeds are perennials too. So they'll, just get them out of there and so they don't come back next year type of thing. So.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for answering some good questions at this point of the season. And I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.